What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Back again for another random video. Just gonna talk to you guys real quick about one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life. I thought about this video and it's kind of a cool story, and in case you're thinking about doing something and you might regret it, well, let me just tell you a little story of one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. So a couple years ago, like 5 years ago, I was really hurting for money. Obviously, like any early 20-year-old, unless you're born rich, obviously, or you got mad hookups. But this thing came to town, a little tiny town where I'm from. So it was a big company, and they wanted people to work on the railroad system, clean the ties, and clean up the railroad tracks, go all across Canada, and then the people from the States would do it all in the States. So I was really excited to go, but it was like 2 months on. It was like 6 or 8 weeks on, your choice. It could be up to 8 weeks. And then you got to come back for 10 days. Now, I just had my daughter. She was only a year and a half old at the time. And I really needed the money, and I didn't really think it through how big of a decision I was making doing this. So we needed money, and sacrifices had to be made, and I knew I was going to miss my daughter. But, with FaceTiming and Facebook, I thought it was going to be okay. So I ended up getting the job. They picked me out of a group of people in that town. I was the only one that got chosen. They paid for my ticket, as I had to go to the States in Minnesota. I'm not going to give any company names. If you guys can figure it out for yourself, go ahead. I'm not bashing on the company. I'm just talking about the worst decision I've ever made in my life. There's been others, but we'll keep this one as being the worst. So back in about 5 years ago, I ended up boarding on a plane for the very first time. Coming from a small town, never really did any of that stuff. Went on one plane, flew to Toronto. Excuse me. And I got lost. My luggage got lost. I was panicking. I was very upset. I was all by myself, no one to help me. I followed my group off the plane to our luggage department, and I don't know how I got lost. So laugh it away, but it was very stressful when you're in Pearson Airport, fucking massive airport, and you're lost. I'm on the phone, calling my mom, calling everybody I can to get my damn luggage. Finally got my luggage, almost missed my plane, and I boarded the plane. Turbulence. I was in a jet now, not like a little propeller plane. Oh, off we go. I don't like roller coasters, so that scared the shit out of me too. And this time I got the window seat. So it was nighttime. Thank God, because during the day, I wasn't at the window. The guy beside me looking at me like, you gonna be okay, buddy? And I'm like holding onto the chair like, ah. So I ended up getting to the States and waiting for my luggage. My luggage never showed up because it got lost. I had to fly, actually. I thought my luggage, sorry, I think I said I found my luggage. I had to board my plane late. I did not get my luggage in Toronto. It came a day later. And then when I got to the States, a whole day went by. My luggage finally shows up. Thank God. I had my actual backpack and my luggage. So I brought my Xbox. I brought my laptop. I didn't know if I was gonna be bored or not. And I'm in the hotel. Then we go do our stuff. I was there for about 4 days, getting up 6 o'clock in the morning, training about working on a railway system and first aid. I later found out that I was the only Canadian. I think there was one more Canadian guy. And it sucked because I was all excited to travel across the States. I thought that's what I was doing. But really, the Canadians stay in Canada, and then the Americans go to America. So they got to travel all the way through California and stuff, see all this sightseeing. Well, they just spray water on a hose while the things grind up the ties, shine them up, and then you use a water cannon. Paid like $14 an hour all day. I couldn't imagine doing that. And then hammering in ties, fixing boards, all that stuff. It sounded cool at first, but I'm sure it would get really agonizing. And the Americans got to go home after like a 10-hour shift, but they were paid for a 12 because it was like 2 hours to get back to the hotel, or like an hour there, an hour back, so that was 2 hours of downtime. They got to sit on their ass. Well, in Canada, there was nothing to do, so it was all bush. So you actually worked, and then you'd go to bed. And then you get up and work, go to bed. And I don't even think they had Wi-Fi. They might have had Wi-Fi. That was the only perk. But I don't think I could play my game system or stuff like that. They didn't have TVs or nothing. So that was a complete bummer. But I'm glad I never made it that far, because actually on the third day, I failed their little first aid test by one. it was like it was meant to happen because I paid for my passport. They reimbursed me. They paid $1,500 for my plane ticket. Now, why this is the worst mistake of my life? Well, one, I was gone for 4 days or 3 days. In that time I was gone, texting and all that shit, once it changed over, once I got fired, I was texting and letting everybody know, my family know I was coming back. I used up so much minutes and talk time that the bill I got paid for the 3 days I was there. It was like $180 American or Canadian I got. And they reimbursed me cash for my passport, thank God. And then that paid for my bill. So that was a huge waste of time. They're fucking complete pricks about it. I'm sitting there waiting, and you're like, I'm not giving you a chance. I failed by one. They're that strict. I came all the way there, and they're gonna fail me by one. Anyways, everybody was all like, "Oh, I can't believe you failed," and I guess they're really strict in America. A lot of other guys were failing because they had like a recent or like a past back pain from like 10 years ago. So America's like super strict on that. They don't want to give health care and stuff just for anybody, right? So I was 100% healthy, but I was going to Canada, and we are all covered up here. It's a totally different law. And I'm taking the bus back because you don't get a plane ticket. You get a fucking bus pass. I had to go through Detroit, Chicago. I'm going back through all these ghetto-ass places. People are getting metal detected. And you got to understand, I'm from a small town up in Canada, so seeing that shit freaked me out. Security guards or cops walking around with fucking guns. Like, I was afraid to leave my stuff. Like, just to charge my phone, I was, like, hugging my bag. I didn't want anyone to steal my stuff because it was all my electronics and all the stuff I worked hard for back then. And that was a nightmare. The people I talked to, going through all these towns, we stopped so much. I think it took me like 20 hours to get home from down in Minnesota. And then I passed out after we crossed the border into Canada. We had to get all searched. They didn't bother with me because I was Canadian already. A lot of Americans were coming through. So that was kind of cool. I had no record or nothing, so I didn't really get hassled. I woke up coming up from Windsor, and a freaking black dude, or whatever color, doesn't matter, I'm just saying, I guess he's from Detroit, he was trying to rob me. I was like hugging my bag. I finally passed out. I passed out from Chicago when I left, but it was like 2 in the morning, so I slept till like 6. I got a little bit of sleep because we drove like 12 hours that day from Minnesota all the way up to like Detroit. Then when we finally got to Chicago and then Detroit, and then we came to Windsor, and then all the way up north. But we stopped so many times, it was ridiculous. And then here I am sleeping, I wake up, and Buddy's grabbing for my bag, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like, I didn't even know how to react. Like, I was like, were you in my bag? Were you trying to like go for my bag? But I don't know how, I was so tired, I passed out, and then I woke up, and he was right there. I should have like clopped him right in the head. But I was just like, I wish I can go back in time and be like, what the fuck you doing, dude? Like, don't touch my shit. And anyways, huge mistake, big waste of time. All that paperwork and paying for my ticket, going up there, getting dropped off, huge waste of time. So really, it's good to look back on all that time that I didn't actually get sent away for a couple months, because who knows where I'd be, and all that time wasted when I got to spend it and come home and spend time with my daughter. So I'm very appreciative of that, and nothing was wasted, no time was wasted. So good came out of that. I ended up getting other jobs and doing construction and stuff that led me into different fields, as I'm a truck driver now, so I didn't really like any of that stuff before. So it's crazy how life takes a turn, you know what I mean? You think it's a turn for the worst, my life sucks, blah, 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 but really everything happens for a reason, I believe, and their life experiences and lessons to learn, right? So looking back on all that stuff, I'm glad it happened, because now I can say, hey, it's an experience. I got to fly in a plane, I got to go to the States, I got to go through all these towns, ghetto-ass cities that I'll never ever visit again, and just, I didn't pay for a damn dollar of it, but it sucked, because when I did get that paycheck, I had to pay my phone bill, because all the long distance minutes I used to talk to my family and tell them that, hey, my cocky attitude thought I was going to pass, I didn't study, and I failed. I failed by one, but I failed for a reason, to be home with my daughter, which was more important than anything in my life at that time. And I'm just glad, because life lesson. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. Please like and subscribe for more random videos, as I do upload often, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now.